You're constantly apologizing for things you didn't do. You find yourself defending your sanity to someone who's actively destroying it. And somehow, every fight ends with you being the villain in a story where you started as the victim. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Let's talk about the 7 tactics emotional abusers use to flip the script and make you the problem. Number 1, they rewrite history right in front of you. An emotional abuser has a superpower. They can change what happened yesterday and make you question your own memory today. You'll bring up something hurtful they said, and suddenly you never heard them correctly. That argument you remember never happened the way you think. That promise they made, you're remembering it wrong. This isn't just casual forgetfulness. This is a calculated move to make you doubt what you know is true. They'll describe events so confidently, with such conviction, that you start wondering if your brain is malfunctioning. You'll replay conversations in your head 100 times, trying to figure out if you really are losing it. The scariest part, you'll start recording conversations mentally, keeping receipts, gathering evidence just to prove to yourself that you're not going insane. When you need documentation to trust your own experience, something is deeply broken. And here's what they're really doing. They're making you spend so much energy questioning your reality that you have no energy left to question their behavior. While you're busy defending your version of events, they've already moved on to the next manipulation. Number 2, your feelings become the real crime. You're hurt, you're upset. You try to express how their actions affected you, and within minutes, you're the one apologizing for being too sensitive, too dramatic, too emotional. An emotional abuser doesn't hear your pain as something to address. They hear it as an accusation, an attack, an inconvenience. So they flip it. Your sadness becomes aggression. Your boundaries become controlling behavior. Your tears become manipulation. They'll say things like, "You're always playing the victim," or "Why do you make everything about you?" or "I can't do anything right in your eyes." Notice how quickly the conversation shifted. You came to them with a problem, and now you're comforting them, reassuring them, minimizing your own hurt just to keep the peace. This teaches you something dangerous. Your emotions are a burden. Your needs are unreasonable. Your pain is your fault. So you learn to shrink yourself, to stay quiet, to manage their feelings while ignoring your own. You become an expert at swallowing discomfort. You carry their emotional weight while they walk around light as air, never having to take responsibility for the damage they cause. Number 3, they turn your reactions into evidence against you. Here's how this works. They push you, they poke you, they cross boundaries, ignore your requests, dismiss your feelings, belittle your concerns. They do this over and over until you finally break. You yell, you cry, you slam a door, you say something harsh out of pure exhaustion, and that's the moment they've been waiting for. Now you're the angry one, you're the unstable one, you're the problem. They'll point to your reaction as proof that you're difficult, irrational, out of control. They'll tell others about how you exploded over nothing, conveniently leaving out the months of pressure that led to that explosion. It's like spending an hour poking someone with a needle, and then acting shocked when they finally swat your hand away. But in their version of the story, all anyone sees is you being violent. This tactic is especially effective because it makes you police your own emotions even harder. You become terrified of showing anger, frustration, or any emotion they can weaponize. You learn to stay calm while being disrespected, to smile while being diminished, to keep your voice steady while your boundaries are being destroyed. You turn into someone you don't recognize, someone who tolerates the intolerable just to avoid giving them ammunition. Number 4, they make you responsible for their behavior. You made me do this. If you hadn't pushed me, I wouldn't have said that. I only act this way because of how you treat me. An emotional abuser will hand you the blame for their choices, like it's a gift you're supposed to accept. They remove their own responsibility entirely and place it on your shoulders. Their anger, your fault. Their cruelty, you provoked it. Their lies, you forced them into it. This is a trap that keeps you stuck in a cycle of trying to be better, trying to fix yourself, thinking that if you just change enough, they'll stop hurting you. You walk on eggshells, measure your words, control your tone, manage your face, all to avoid triggering their next outburst. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. Nothing you do will ever be enough. Because the problem was never you. They're not reacting to your behavior. They're using your behavior as an excuse. A healthy person takes responsibility for their actions. They might say, "I was frustrated, but I shouldn't have spoken to you that way," instead of, "You frustrated me, so I had every right to speak to you that way." Notice the difference. One acknowledges choice. The other denies it. When someone consistently blames you for their decisions, they're telling you who they are. Believe them. Number 5, they surround you with an audience that agrees with them. Emotional abusers rarely work alone. They build a network of people who see them as the victim and you as the villain. They'll vent to friends, family, co-workers, anyone who will listen, about how difficult you are, how much they put up with, how hard they try. And because they're so good at performing, these people believe them. So when you finally speak up, when you finally ask for support, you're met with confusion. Really, they seem so nice. Are you sure you're not overreacting? This isolation is strategic. It cuts off your support system. It makes you question whether your experience is valid. If everyone else thinks they're wonderful, maybe you really are the problem. What you don't see is the version of themselves they present to others. The charm, the humor, the generosity. Those people don't live with them. They don't see the private cruelty, the subtle digs, the constant erosion of your self-worth. An abuser's public image is a shield. It protects them from accountability and keeps you trapped, because who's going to believe you when everyone else sees someone completely different? Number 6, they apologize without ever changing. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry, but you also. I said I'm sorry. What more do you want? These aren't real apologies. They're conversation enders designed to shut down your concerns without actually addressing them. An emotional abuser learns the language of apology without the substance of it. They'll say the words, sometimes with tears, sometimes with frustration, but nothing ever changes. The same patterns repeat, the same hurts happen, the same boundaries get crossed. And when you bring it up again, they'll throw the previous apology in your face like you're being ungrateful. I already apologized for that. Why are you still holding on to it? Translation: I performed the ritual of remorse, and now you're supposed to forget it happened. Real apologies come with change. They come with effort, with awareness, with a genuine shift in behavior. They don't come with defensiveness or conditions. They don't come with a timer that says, your hurt expires the moment they say sorry. If someone keeps apologizing for the same thing without ever doing the work to stop doing that thing, the apology is just another form of control. Number 7, they make you think you're just as bad. This is the final twist. After months or years of manipulation, you might start adopting their tactics. You might lie to keep the peace. You might lash out in ways you never did before. You might manipulate situations just to protect yourself. And when you see yourself doing these things, you think, maybe I'm the abuser. Maybe I'm just as toxic. Maybe we're both the problem. This is exactly what they want you to think. Because if you're both equally guilty, then their behavior doesn't seem so bad. If you're both flawed, then there's no victim, no accountability, no reason to leave. But here's what's actually happening. You're responding to an impossible environment. You're developing survival strategies for a relationship that's destroying you. The person you've become in this relationship isn't who you are. It's who you had to be to survive them. Healthy people don't bring out your worst. They don't push you to compromise your values, your integrity, your sense of self. When someone consistently brings out a version of you that you hate, that's not love, that's toxicity. If you recognized yourself in any of these tactics, you're not broken, you're not crazy, you're not the problem. You're someone who's been systematically taught to doubt themselves by someone who benefits from your confusion. Recovery starts with seeing the pattern. It starts with trusting yourself again. It starts with understanding that you deserve relationships where your reality is respected, your feelings matter, and your boundaries aren't treated as personal attacks. Before you go, do me a favor. If this video helped you see something clearly for the first time, hit that like button and subscribe. And here's a question for you. Which of these 7 tactics hit closest to home? Drop a number in the comments. Sometimes just naming it takes away some of its power. You're not alone in this, and you're stronger than you think.